Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today we're doing our first retro review being Banjo Kazooie. Well, you're probably wondering, BB8, why would you split your review videos into certain categories? Well, I didn't really want to mix things up, so I just put basic BB8's House reviews with the newer games, BB8's House Reviews Retro, for games more than 10 years old, and BB8's House Reviews video game adaptations for TV and film based on video games. But let's get into the rules of BB8's House Reviews Retro before we dive into the review. So for the rules of the retro reviews, I'll only put this reminder here once, but when I do review the original Paper Mario for Nintendo 64, this won't be here. So the rules are, the game has to be more than 10 years old to count. And the latest consoles that can be used are as followed. For home consoles, the Xbox 360 and PS3, as well as the Wii. And for handhelds, the Nintendo DS and the Sony PSP. Without further ado, let's review Banjo Kazooie. So the gameplay of Banjo Kazooie, it plays out like Super Mario 64 in a way, but there's more that Banjo Kazooie can do. Like, I know Super Mario 64 has more maps than Banjo Kazooie, but Banjo Kazooie, of course, does have more collectibles you can go around and collect, like music notes, Jinjos, and eggs. And you can collect feathers as well, so Kazooie can do stuff like invulnerability and flight. And I do think the flight for Banjo Kazooie is better than Super Mario 64. But the Xbox 360 version does actually have an advantage compared to the Nintendo 64 version. And since I have played both the Nintendo 64 version via Nintendo Switch Online and the Xbox 360 version, with the Xbox 360 version having an advantage of keeping your Jinjos and music notes once you've left the world. But in the Nintendo 64 version, your notes and your Jinjos just reset upon leaving your world. And the Xbox 360 version has widescreen, unlike the N64 version. And for the story, the game's story focuses on a bear named Banjo and a bird named Kazooie as they sail on a quest to rescue Banjo's sister, Tootie, who was abducted by the witch, Gruntilda. Along their journey, the two get help from Mumbo Jumbo and Bottles the Mole, as well as various other characters in smaller roles, such as Boggy from Freezeezy Peak. So for the design and the music, well, the only thing I can say for now is I cannot judge the graphics because the game came out in 1998, but I do think Banjo Kazooie, for a game at its time, was quite detailed. Compared to Super Mario 64, where the textures on everything were okay, but not all the way great. But Banjo Kazooie did do the whole texturing thing better than Super Mario 64. And for the music, I do think the music, unlike Mario 64, is quite unique at its time. Because depending where you are in the game, the music is different. Unlike Mario 64, where the same theme is repeated in both Bob-omb Battlefield and Whomp's Fortress, each world has its own unique soundtrack, which I do like better, because at least I can remember which world I'm in by the music, unlike Mario 64. So for the verdict, Banjo Kazooie is quite a fun game to play. Even for a game that released in 1998, the game has aged quite well. And for the final scores, the gameplay, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10, because for its time, I do think Banjo Kazooie does do the whole sandbox platformer better than Super Mario 64. For the graphics, I give a 7, because they did manage to do the detailing thing quite well. And for the story, I give an 8, because the story does stand out quite well with Gruntilda kidnapping 2E and all that. The characters I give an 8.5. And for the difficulty, I give it a moderate, because levels like Gruntilda's Furnace Fun might be difficult sometimes. And the one pain being that you might have to go back and get all the jiggies before going to Gruntilda. So overall, I do give Banjo Kazooie an 8.7 out of 10. With the score of 8.7, Banjo Kazooie has made it to one of my favourite Nintendo 64 games of all time, beating Super Mario 64. I do like Super Mario 64 and all, but I do think the gameplay in Banjo Kazooie is better, in my opinion. But I will review Banjo Tooie soon, because I've only just started playing it on the Xbox, since it's not available on Nintendo Switch Online yet. And Banjo Kazooie has aged very well for a 3D platformer. So guys, what did you think of my retro review of Banjo Kazooie? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another video like this one. I will be reviewing the original Paper Mario once I've completed it. And I don't see a point of reviewing Super Mario 64 now, because I kind of revealed what score I gave it, but a review for the original Paper Mario will be coming soon. So I'll see you all in a future video. BB8 out.